Good evening and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Wrestling Brewster and this is show 367. Okay, let's get started by welcoming some great underwriters. Stonewall's Cafe in Manamet, Brewster PC Solutions with Wrestling Brewster, One Stop Painting with Jeff Cohen, attorneys Trifletti and Costa on Long Pond Road, and underwriters David and Kevin Gallerani, owner of Cape Auto Body and Service. Locations are Samoset Street and Sandwich Street right here in Plymouth. And don't forget, if you see Ken or Karen around town, or Andrew or wrestling or anybody else, say hi. All right, this is a Three Amigos show, and we've got two amigos actually in the studio and one back in the control booth. I'm wrestling. This is Andrew. Andrew, you want to tell them about the foundation?
Yes. Hi, I'm Andrew Botieri, and one of the Three Amigos, though we are missing an amigo. We have an APB out for him, and hopefully by the end of the show we'll find him. Anyways, we have a join us for the Plymouth Education Foundation for the 5th annual Valentine's Gala. It is Saturday, February 7th at 6 o'clock in the evening at the Pavilion at Pine Hills Golf Club in Plymouth. Of course, there'll be dining, there'll be dancing, there'll be auctions. Black tie is optional, which means you can just come with a tie, right? Black tie, that's it. You have to come. The buff is the rest, right?
Yeah.
I think that'd be awesome. But I think you got to be under 30 to probably do that. But it's for a great cause, obviously. Education is very important in our town for our youth. So if you can make it, we'll see you there. So back over to you, wrestling. What's up?
Back over to me.
Back over to you. I feel a little naked without Tim on one side of us.
I know. He's usually the best dressed of us as well.
Well, I guess let's chat a little bit about what's going on, current events. I think a couple of the big things, obviously, is this coming Sunday at 6:30. The Patriots go for the AFC Championship. Why can't they make it easy on us? I mean, the interception happened, and we're like, okay, game over.
Right.
Awesome. And so for the next 2+ minutes, you got your heart is up in your throat.
Right.
You're on the edge of your seat. You're ready to have as we say here in Massachusetts, a hat attack, but it had to go all the way down to a Hail Mary pass that if they had caught that, would still be depressed today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was coming back from 14 to zip.
Twice. They came from 14 down twice.
I know.
Amazing.
And then the opposing coach has got to, go and say, well, they did all this sneaky stuff. Yeah. I saw this great thing on Facebook the other day that said, they did all this sneaky stuff like doing good plays and being in the right place and, beating you.
Yeah. Well, Harbaugh's got to realize he just got out-coached.
Oh, yeah.
That was it. And what's interesting, I think it was week 4 or week 5, the Detroit Lions actually used the same scheme.
Oh, really?
And then I think it was LSU and another college team that I think, what's the Belichick's friend that used to be in the Saban. Yeah. That he employed the same scheme, but yet that was okay.
Right.
Basically, Harbaugh, you got out-coached. Oh, yeah. So go back to Baltimore, take your steam crabs with you, and just call it a season. Really,
yeah.
Go back to all your criminals.
When Brady was asked about it, Brady said, "Well, I guess he's going to go look at the rule book because we did."
Yeah, read the rule book.
Read the rule book.
But of course, anytime the Patriots win like that, of course we're cheating once again.
Oh, because we have to play against the refs and we have to play against
exactly. So that's exciting. This is the 4th year in a row that our Patriots have been there, and I know there's a lot of Patriot fans around, so. Let's make sure we root on our team, and then also the Boston Bruins. They won I think it was their 4th straight game in a row.
Wow!
So they were not doing well. Their coach or the owner Jacobs actually came out on I forget where he was interviewed, but he basically chewed their butts out, and they've responded and. So, again, I don't think you can have. I've lived all over the country. I've lived in Arizona, Southern California, San Francisco, Philadelphia.
But you keep coming back.
But I keep coming back. I don't think you can really find a better group of sports fans who know the different sports, the ins and outs, how passionate we are. So Sunday is going to be great. So if anyone wants to call in, the number is 508-830-3971, and give us your predictions for the Patriots game on this Sunday.
Or anything you want to talk about.
Yeah. So Dave Galleron, if you're out there, call in.
He usually waits until halfway through the show to make sure that nobody's listening.
So, anyways, just some other stuff that I wanted to talk about. Of course, we've always got good discussions here, but I did really want to, and this was really sad. I was actually over at Charlie's Ace Hardware, probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago. No, actually, probably just early December, getting some duct tape, and I was really sad to see in this week's paper, but. I don't know. Can you zoom in on this, Ken? Okay. Well,
it's the paper with Gus's.
If you can see Gus, who has been a mainstay at Charlie's Ace Hardware store, Charlie Vendini. This was just very, very sad. There was actually
just hold it right there.
There was actually
center one.
Yep.
Look on that one, but do the center one.
Okay.
There you go.
And I was actually on. There we go. There's Charlie. Nice. I mean, there's Charlie and his son Chuck, and then of course Farewell Gus.
Farewell Gus.
I was actually on Facebook on the If You Lived in Plymouth site, and as of yesterday, there was probably about 60 people from around Plymouth and even people outside of Plymouth who have left comments and condolences for Gus. And I just farewell Gus. Every time I went in there. You were the mainstay. I mean, and I know it was sad because I know that
it was an institution.
It was an institution, and I know that one of Charlie's sons, Joe, was actually he was given that Gus when about 14 years ago. So
Gus never stole your pocketbook, did he?
No, he didn't, and he never flirted with me like he did with some of the females there. But again, it's as I've noticed this as well. With as we're getting older, a lot of the things that I grew up with that were institutions, whether it's been, the great actors that we've had, from the Charlton Hestons to the Cary Grants and even Robin Williams and when they start to pass away and stuff, it's sad. I think it actually gives us a more reflection on our own mortality.
It gives pause, especially with someone like us, who was an institution in the town, and such a big part of it.
Oh, I mean, and that that was even in his print advertising. He always had a mention of Gus in there as well. Yeah. So
you get to throw a dot at me. Botieri.
I wanted to make sure. Yeah, just like that chief of police in town. Yeah,
cousin, right?
Yeah, my cousin Mike, good guy.
He should call in. That'd be great.
No, because he'll never give up the phone. You give him a microphone and forget it. He starts doing stand-up. But no, really heartfelt to the Vendini family and Gus.
Yeah, they've gone through a lot.
Yeah, you guys have really gone through a lot, and our prayers and thoughts are with you guys as well. So I did want to get to that. But anyways, so we just got out of the holidays. Thank God. And New Year's unscathed. I actually went down to Florida for Fort Lauderdale.
I saw your post from Florida.
Yeah, my mom had passed away in June, and it was the first time without Christmas with her. And of course, Dad passed 5 years ago. And it just, I don't know, I just wasn't in the mood for it. So all my siblings did their stuff with their kids, and I went down to Fort Lauderdale. Had a lot of fun. I have a cousin that lives up in Delray Beach, so he came down for a little while, and another buddy that lives right outside of Boca, who I knew when I lived in Philly back in the 90s. So he came down, we hung out as well. So, awesome. But it just needed some time to just get out of that whole bah humbug stuff,
Yep. Oh yeah, the holidays are tough.
Yeah, they are, and I think they're just.
When did you get back?
I got back, let me say, I flew down on the 23rd, and I flew down first thing in the morning. I was on the beach by noontime.
Nice.
And Tuesday was great. Wednesday was all beach day.
Yeah.
Thursday and Friday were overcast and rainy, but there's a lot of places for adult beverages with little umbrellas in them.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I was just fine. Ho, ho, ho.
Did you get back for New Year's? Or
I came back on the 26th. I came back on that Friday. It was just a quick trip,
Yeah. Oh.
just to get away. And so New Year's has come and gone. And
What'd you do for New Year's?
I got together with some friends,
Okay.
and just kind of, again, I think the older we get, the little bit more subdued we are. We don't want to.
I actually went to Jeff Cohen's New Year's
how was
thing.
that?
That was awesome.
Yeah, I saw some of the pictures on Facebook, and a lot of people I know that were there, and they said it was a blast.
It was a blast, and it was a Jeff Cohen. Jeff Cohen, I've talked to a lot of people on his committee, and he is such a micromanager that everything's got to be the fine details.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's got the Clydesdales bringing in some of the supporters. He's got the 3 ice carvings of the names of all of the supporters, and he's got lights, and he's got all the great stuff. And he had these 2. It was masks. You had to have one of those French masks.
Oh yeah.
And he had 2 of them, 2 giant ones up on the stage. That he said he had the same guy who did the painting on his vet. Did the painting on those, and it was just all painted. And
Oh wow!
And the band was rocking. It was just a really great night, and it was it was in support of 2020, and what Jeff really wants to do is he wants to build it every year. He wants to get so we can have fireworks, so we can have so we rival downtown Boston for New Year's Eve, and it was a great start. It'll be bigger next year and the next year after that, but. It was really great to see Plymouth come out to those things, and it's it's great to see. We could probably talk a little bit about 2020, but it's great to see when Plymouth gets together for stuff like that, in support of something that we had the illumination where we all held up, and the thing that I noticed about that illumination is they did a telecast with England. Plymouth, England at the same time.
Oh, no kidding.
And Plymouth, England had like 300 people there holding lights. They are so excited for this 2020.
Yeah.
So we really need to build that. That's something.
Well, and it's something that Jeff has always been such a giver, and I think he just recently started the Jeff Cohen Foundation, charitable foundation, which is wonderful. And you mentioned the micromanager. Do you think it has anything to do with running a paint business where you've got to be exact? You can't go over that line. You can't touch the seam or the trim. So maybe that's where it comes. But there's so many people in this town that give of themselves, and Jeff, Jeff's definitely one of them. So hats off to you, Jeff.
Oh, yeah.
You do a great job. And
if you're out there, call in.
Yeah, call in and talk about the event and some of the successes of that. I know I saw Jeff was on there. I saw Michelle Pecoraro on there. I saw a bunch of other friends that were on the Facebook, and
it was a really great time.
And as we talk about the 2020, I mean it's 5 years away. And
everybody kept saying,
probably 4.5 because it's going to be around this in the summer of 2020. Things start of the spring.
Right. And there's a succession of events that will lead up to it. And they're working on different events
and I hope that again people continue to support. A side story is Michelle Pecoraro, who is the executive director of that. We both share the same birthday, which is December 19th. She's doing a phenomenal job. And so from what I hear, that I think the license plates have all sold.
1,500? What did it take?
And so I think very shortly I'll be getting my license plate. So
what'd you get?
I got, by the wonderful graciousness of Michelle, she actually gave to me the plate that she originally picked out, which was 12/19, which is our birthday, December 19th, because we both share the same birthday. So she gave me a birthday card. We go and usually kick around together, and we went into last year. We went into Boston. We saw the I Love Lucy Broadway show, which was fantastic. This year we went in on Thursday the 18th into Boston, and we saw Irving Berlin's White Christmas, which was just fantastic. And so she gave me a birthday card. I opened it up, and it was a picture of the 12/19 license plate.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
So,
that's great.
Yeah. So she's a sweetheart, and I really appreciate that. She's one of my best friends. And so, but it doesn't mean that, just because we hit 1,500, I don't know if people can actually, keep going. And if you can, contact.
Well, 1,500 was the number that we needed.
The print. Or to
print them.
Yeah, yeah.
So you can still get them. And that's,
Yeah. And I mean, what more pride can you have than driving around with a license plate from Plymouth for the 2020? So, and obviously, it must mean a lot to you and your family. Obviously, being direct descendants of William Brewster or Elder Brewster, and even on my side, my mother's side, she's a descendant of William White, who passed the first winter. And his wife Susanna and two children, Peregrine and Resolved.
Yeah.
I challenge anybody today to name their kids Peregrine or Resolved.
Oh, wrestling.
Or wrestling. That's why he calls himself William. But I always call him wrestling. So again, if anybody's out there, Michelle, if you're out there, 508-830-3971 if you want to chat a little bit about the 2020.
Or anything.
Or anything. Just call up about the Patriots. Call up about the Bruins.
If you don't call, we're going to keep talking.
Exactly. And yeah, you may not want to hear that. I think one of the other things that was interesting also in line with the 2020 is that we just got a letter that Selectman Ken Tavares had sent off to the Plymouth Bay Cultural District, Cultural Council, which I sit on the board of the Project Arts with Mike Landers and Donna Osborne and a few other very beautiful people and just very, very helpful. And so we just got a letter from Kenny saying that we have been accepted by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and we are one of 26 cultural districts in the Commonwealth to help really promote the arts, the businesses, travel and tourism, and also helping out local businesses here in Plymouth. And I know that Gary from Setting the Pace also is doing on I think actually started every Saturday. They do a sort of a Saturday event where all the businesses stay open late. People can kind of roam from one place to another.
Wonderful if we could do that more often.
And we need to, don't get me started on the whole parking issue, because I think the more parking that we have available to both people within the town and people outside of the town, it can just really continue to help all those small local businesses that are up on Main Street and keep people, get people uptown. If they want to walk down to the waterfront, there's many streets going downhill. But really trying to help all those businesses succeed, because it's really, even during the Christmas time, I try to frequent more of the smaller shops than I do the box stores. I think we all have an obligation as residents of the town of Plymouth to really go and spend our money at the smaller businesses, because that's really what the heart of America is and will continue to be. So
that's true.
I'm done.
No, you're not done. You can't be done. All right,
Well,
that's the show, Ken.
That's the show. Put it in the can.
Go back to I State Your Name.
No. You have to keep going, guys.
Well, let's talk a little bit about our newly elected officials and where that's gone. It was great to see Vinny get elected to a new position and move up, and Matt to take over his position. My wife was at his last selectmen's meeting, which is bittersweet.
Must have been, yeah.
And she said that he was kind of emotional. He's one of those guys that really cares about the town and puts his heart and soul in it. This is Matt Moratori, but he really, you can tell. Yeah. You can tell the people who really care that, there's some elected officials who, they're in it for themselves. But Matt's one of those guys, he was called Mr. Kumbaya once, and I think it was poking fun at him, but he was one of those guys that could really bring people together. And I watched him during his career as a selectman, and I talked to him about a bunch of different issues, and he was always like, well, if we could just get these people together. Yeah. And it was great to see a politician. I don't think a selectman's a politician, but an elected official going that route, not saying, all right, well, this is what we got to do. And it was always, with him, it was always, let's see what we can do to get everybody together, get the guiding principles that they got, and stuff like that really, united us and made it much stronger.
Well, I think you make a point is that, we tend to call them politicians, but I think you really have to, there's a differentiation. There's politicians who, all you need to do is look, south about 500 miles down into Washington, D.C., and you can see what politicians are. And on both sides of the aisle, they can be very self-serving. Many of them go in as middle class and they come out as millionaires. Right. How does that work? Forever.
Right. 2 years. 2 years is a civil servant, and you get a lifetime of
health care, Cadillac health care, and everything else. But then there's also the civic leaders who are really there to help out a community, help out a city, help out a state, a commonwealth. And those people need to be applauded because as we've seen in national politics, who would want to run? I mean, all they do is they rip you down, they lie about you, they pull your family into it, and that's why we've got a bunch of yahoos down in Washington, because the good people don't want to run. They don't want to deal with that.
And you look at the local politics, for lack of a better term, the civil servants. If you look at them, they get paid nothing.
Yeah.
To be a selectman, you get paid nothing. Yeah. And a selectman, I watch the different selectmen, and the selectmen that really care, really are diligent about, doing their research and doing all the stuff that's needed. That's a 30-hour-a-week job.
Yeah. On top of the 40, 50-hour-a-week job that they're currently doing.
Right. And you get nothing.
Yeah.
And it's, I hate to go there, but the people on Speak Out who, rail against the local establishment and rail against, the selectmen doing this and the selectmen doing that. All right, run, vote, and it's the people who really care about this town and really are standing up and taking positions. Grandy's not here because he's at a meeting for something he cares about.
Yeah.
His wife continually says the town of Plymouth is his girlfriend.
Yeah.
He really gives a damn about the town.
He does.
And people like that are great. I applaud them. Anything that they can do. And it's just the people who tear those people down really got to take a step back and look inward and say, all right, did I vote in the last election? Did I vote for that person? Did I pay attention? Am I paying attention to what's going on in the town? Or just this is one issue that's pissing me off.
Well, and I think what you mentioned Speak Out, and I was actually reading that this past Monday.
I'm sorry.
And I know, but I figured because I listen to national talk radio and sports stations, so this is the only way I get my news. Either that or I call Ken. and I end up having to leave a message, so I never hear back from the guy anyways. Unless he wants something, then I hear right back from him.
Well, there's something wrong with my phone. My wife could attest to that. Something
but so
wrong
I
with
was
the phone.
reading Speak Out. It was about the mishap on the pay for the teachers, and where she hit the wrong button right next to the other.
Somebody in town hall.
Somebody in the town hall.
Yeah.
But the first 2 or 3 Speak Outs were like, oh, there's a conspiracy. Did they steal the money?
Yeah.
And so I think what you find from Speak Out, they say that 33% of the country is conservative. About maybe another 33% is liberal or at least leaning that way, and 33% are uninformed voters. And when I read Speak Out, and again, hopefully I'm not going to disparage anybody, but it seems that the majority of those people are uninformed individuals.
Oh, yeah. And it's very, when it comes to Speak Out, I noticed that, I don't read it anymore, but when I would, it was very specific. And it would jot down, I can't believe you did this. I can't believe they took the money from the teachers. And it's very specific where if you look at a broad scheme, it's like town meeting. Town meeting members need to pay attention 365 days of every year.
Yeah.
And if there's an issue like that, people in the town should know about it. And Speak Out is very, they call because they don't have to put their name down. And so it's anonymous. And you can say anything you want. And I've talked to the people at the paper, and they've told me that, they throw out a whole bunch of stuff that they can't print. And they say it drives the paper. People read it for Speak Out, and people, I think it's a lot of people want to hear themselves, see themselves in print. And, it's a way to bloviate about whatever the problem is that you have with whatever's going on. Again, it's, if you were involved and did some research and paid attention, that happened. The town manager came out and said, there was a mistake. We've been working with it. And, the little banks that we worked with, they were fine. They switched it right away. The big banks, I don't want to mention any names, but the Red Bank and the, Bank of...
The one that's hard to pronounce?
Yes. and the Bank of the United States, they said, oh, we can't change that. We've got to go a month because it's got to come back and the bureaucracy of it. So it is, you get going with Speak Out. It's just, all right, you've got an opinion. This is your little issue. It's so much more broader.
Well, and it is. And I think as I was reading Speak Out, it's sort of... Oh, do we have a caller?
We have a caller?
Guess who?
It's either your wife or Dave Gallerani. Oh, he's at a bar.
It's not your wife.
I hear glasses clinging in the background. Hey, Davey Gallerani, how are you, buddy?
Good. How are you guys?
We're doing well.
Happy New Year.
All right. Well, all right. So I got a few points here for you.
Okay.
All right. So go Pats, 37-20.
Ooh, nice.
All right. And I saw wrestling at the Cohen party, and it was awesome.
It was awesome.
And I think the town of Plymouth really needs to get on board and get the local businesses to start putting up some money so that we can go chase the big money outside the town.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely get at the town ball.
The 400 really, when we go looking for grants and all this other stuff, we need them to realize that we've got a skin in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of those businesses, Dave, even, the local businesses, even if they give, even $50 or $100, even some of the smaller businesses, they're gonna get a return from that because people are gonna know that they contributed. And I think people in Plymouth are good. They patronize the places that are helping support other town initiatives that we may have going on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the money's
Let's get the television
It's going to help the local community. There's no question. But in fact, it's going to help the whole area. And in fact, I think it'll help this area for the 3 or 4 years before, and probably 5 or 10 years after.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of the same
If done right.
thing. Whether you like the Olympic thing or not, in Boston, it's going to. I mean, you look at going into Boston's a horror show. You can't drive in there. There's no parking. The parking's expensive as hell. The train and all that stuff needs to be upgraded hugely. I mean, we're talking about, I don't know how old those trains are, but they seem like they're 100 years old, 200 years old. It's crazy. So, I mean, they need to fix their infrastructure going into the city.
Oh, yeah.
And whether we do the Olympics or not, they should do that. So, they need to pick up the ball and move forward.
Well, hopefully now that they've got a new company running the T, we'll see what happens. I mean, that's always a challenge. But it's Boston is, and I love going into the city, but it's almost like living over on the Cape and how the bridge, OTB over the bridge, it seems to be an impediment to get over to the land. And Boston's the same way. You're right. Parking's atrocious. I'm in the apartment industry. I publish a magazine called The Apartment Finder, and the amount of businesses that are, apartments that they're going to have between 10,000 and 15,000 new apartment units going on just within the Boston area. And you're looking at very, very little of that is going to be subsidized. And you're looking at probably average rents between $2,000 and $4,000 a month. And it's just, it's crazy. But no, Dave, I agree with you. And hey, Dave, also, I think there's a little congratulations, a shout out to you. Isn't there a new addition to the Gallerani family?
Oh, yeah, we got a new skier in the family.
Oh, is that your excuse to get up to New Hampshire?
That's right.
Yeah, grandson by the
I thought
name
it was
of...
a new mechanic.
Brought him up to Wildcat the last couple of weekends and getting him familiar with the noises of ski lodges, and people drinking beer and skiing.
At the same time?
And that's our grandson is it Evan?
Please God, I can't do that anymore.
Yeah, right.
So listen, did you guys see the planning board meeting this Monday?
No, I didn't.
No. What happened at the planning board on Monday?
Well, let me tell you about the planning board meeting this past Monday.
Speaking of someone paying attention.
So, Colony Place is asking to change the zoning on the parking lot across the street that they somehow managed to get at auction from the state. Okay.
Yeah.
And, they do a nice job over there. They do
Yeah.
a great job. It's probably the best mall or whatever we have in town. But it's funny how these town developers come into town and they hire a high-powered lawyer and they want to change the zoning for their benefit.
Yeah.
And the planning board did a hell of a job. They kind of shot them down and said, no, we're not changing it.
Really?
And I got to give them credit for sticking to their guns a little bit because, you know, I mean, I could see it both ways. I could see how that would make a nice retail area, but on the converse side, the planning board has their rules and they know what the industrial development does for the town, and we don't have that much industrial land.
Right.
And if you look at the OCB there, the ophthalmologist building and all that, there's plenty of office buildings that could come to town and take that space and make it look very nice. And they're not going to take a lot of services from the town, so I got to give the planning board credit. They really work hard and they do a great job. And it was a great meeting to watch, to be honest with you.
Now, what was Dave? What were they trying to change the laws for? What were they trying to do?
Put retail in there and not make it
Is that where the Nazar? Was that by the where the
Nazar Jewelers.
Nazar Jeweler is?
Real area.
Okay.
Really?
I can enlighten you if you'd like to be.
It wasn't too many years ago that they changed the zoning at the back part of their lot to include
Car dealership.
dealers,
Yep.
which they're trying to get some back there, and they're finally going to get some back there. But it was never zoned for that. And if you look back not too many years ago, over on by the Home Depot, they actually got the town meeting stupidly, and I was probably at that meeting, and so I'm just as involved as everybody else, but they got them to change rural residential land back there to commercial land.
Yeah.
That's about as far as you can get from one end of the spectrum to the other.
Yep.
And yet, you know, they duped town meeting into doing that. So these developers, you know, they get the right lawyer and they woo you and they turn you around in circles. And next thing you know, you're voting for something that you really shouldn't have voted for.
Well, that is it is, you know, you don't want to put the horse behind the carriage. It is out of the, you know, barn door is open. I'm mixing my metaphors, but yeah, the town meeting did vote for that, and town meeting saying, how did we vote for that? And that's,
Easily, you went yes.
no, you went.
Yeah. Well, you know, we had the same thing, Dave, back. You know.
It was at the end of the town meeting, and everybody was tired.
So they weren't paying attention? I don't want to go there because last time I did, I got in trouble.
Well, sort of like seems like the movie theater or the movie studios that they were going to build.
Oh,
They
yeah.
came in and
Yeah.
sweet talked everybody, and they
Yep.
were going to do
They
this
were
and
gonna
do
be our
that,
white
and then
knight.
It's like we finally said, "Show us the money," and they didn't have any money to show.
Right. Yeah.
So.
All right, so I rattled everybody's cage enough. You guys can carry on without me.
That's
right,
not
Dave.
true. You got to come down here.
Yeah, next we
Three Amigos.
Yeah, we might need you for Three Amigos some night. Next
Wednesday, we need you.
We need you here. We're gonna be minus wrestling, so you got to be part of the Three Amigos.
Oh, God.
Ask the wife.
Yeah.
Ken will call your wife.
Yeah, that's what I say every time Ken calls me to be on the show. Oh God. Yeah, I'll call you this week, Dave. We'll get you down here.
Gentlemen, have a good night.
All right,
You
buddy,
too.
thank you. Take care. Yeah, it's
Speaking of someone who's paying attention.
not us.
Well,
Well,
yeah.
Ken was because Ken was there.
No, but David's one of those people who pays attention to a lot, and
He does.
and it's good to hear when people say, "Did you see the planning board the other night?"
Yeah.
Or did you see the selectmen the other night? he's a great town meeting member because he does that.
Yeah.
He pays attention, and then he comes to town meeting and, makes
Well,
an area into an industrial park. But
he's informed, he educates himself, and he's very passionate, and he loves the town of Plymouth.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And those
Yep.
are great things. We were talking earlier about Speak Out, and as you were talking about it, it made me kind of think of the whole Charlie Hebron, the newspaper in Paris,
Yep.
where that was all about freedom.
Oh, we got another caller. Hello?
Hello, caller.
Nothing there. Hello, caller.
Hello, Jeff.
Hello, Jeff. We got
He
nothing
hung
on
up
this
on
end.
us. He's probably down at the office. Katie's.
He's at Katie's.
Awesome burgers. Well, until we get Jeff back.
Yeah.
Let
Let us know in the control booth when Jeff gets back.
Ken,
Hey.
Jeff.
can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
Mr. Cohen. How are you?
Hey, what's going on down there?
We're just it's a show. It's a Seinfeld episode. It's a show about nothing.
We've been talking about your awesome event on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
I got texted that I should turn the show on because you were talking about New Year's Eve, so I figured I'd see what's going on.
Well, we were just talking about what a great event, and again, just your philanthropy and your foundation, the Jeff Cohen Foundation. Would you like, since we got you on, we'd love to hear a little bit about the foundation.
Well, where do we start? The Jeff Cohen Foundation just raises money to keep it in the community and to help people that need help, and have a party at the same time and raise some awareness and some money and have some fun.
Awesome. What now? I know that I've known you since I moved here to Plymouth about 12, 14 years ago, and you've always been really involved in the community. I know you did some work for quite a while with the Boys and Girls Club,
That's right.
which is fantastic. They got a great facility here in West Plymouth. What is it? What is it about this giving back that really you're passionate about and that really drives you, Jeff?
It's
a good question.
It's just good karma. It just feels good. It's when you turn around at the end of the day, it's kind of like, let me see, I can equate it to what I do for work. Painting gives you instant gratification. You turn around at the end of the day, you look at something that didn't look good and it looks really good now, and people are all happy, and it's just a feeling of pride. Same thing with the events. They started out as parties. They were never really meant to be benefits. They just started out as parties because there was a lack of good parties. And, honestly, they really.
No, you're right.
I've seen from Marty's. She recognized that I could throw a good party, and she figured I should join the board for the Boys and Girls Club. And I joined the board, and we started talking about it. And I said, "Yeah, we can throw a big party. Let's do that." And the looks I got when I said, "We're going to throw a really cool Valentine's ball and charge $100 a person," they thought I was crazy. They're like, "Nobody."
Oh, you are crazy.
And it worked. It was we raised a lot of fun, a lot of awareness for the club, and there's a big, beautiful Boys and Girls Club down there. And a lot of people. I mean, it for many, many years before I came along, they were working and working and working. And so many. I mean, one benefit doesn't make a Boys and Girls Club appear, but we certainly helped. I felt really good about it.
Well, that's great, and again, we appreciate you also being a sponsor here of Talk of the Town as well.
Oh, these guys are great.
We appreciate that, and
I'm getting a really big kick out of watching right now. It's like I'm watching one of those really old Chinese movies.
If you want, we could do like the Chinese karate movies, and we could talk like you can drive Ken completely crazy by doing the sound like that.
I really wasn't sure how it worked, but I knew if I turned the volume up, I'd get all messed up. So
well, Jeff, we appreciate you calling in, and again, we appreciate all that you do for the town of Plymouth as a son of Plymouth, and also again for helping us here at the Talk of the Town so that we can put this show on for the 3.5 people that do watch it.
Three Amigos and the other half.
And Gallerani.
Dave's awesome. I love him. He's such a good guy.
Oh, he is.
Good guy. Hey, Ken, how you doing? Are you waving hi, or you tell me I gotta shut up now? So, hey, tomorrow night they're actually doing the New Year's Eve thing. I can't wait to see it because Pat TV actually came out and filmed it.
Awesome.
And it's gonna be on the news show tomorrow night at 8:00. So I'm like totally psyched to watch that.
What time?
8 o'clock tomorrow night.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
And hey, Andrew, are you in the Rotary TV auction this year?
I don't know. Am I?
No, well, you should be, because Mike's an auctioneer. He's hysterical. That guy, he opens his mouth and I start laughing.
Who's that, Mike Landers?
No, Mike.
Oh, cousin Mike.
Your cousin Mike.
Cousin Mike, yeah.
No, I
had no idea he was so funny.
oh my God,
I mean, he just walked into the room and I start laughing because you just don't know what he's going to say.
You get the two chiefs together, and that's a riot.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
misses calling,
Bradley and him.
cousin Mike should have been a stand-up comedian.
Yeah, instead of a policeman.
This year too. I can't wait to get on. I'm going to get from behind the camera and get on the floor there. It's going to be big fun.
Cool. Well, make sure you bring your Reeboks with you.
Yeah.
come on.
Where doesn't he go without his Reeboks?
Hey, I got the purple ones now. Have you seen the purple?
No.
That's like going. How cool is that?
Those are pretty cool.
Well, I saw you on.
Purple Reeboks, you know.
Yeah, I saw you on Facebook for the New Year's with one of my dear friends, Michelle Pecoraro. So you guys, again, great event, and we were just actually talking about her too with the Plymouth 2020.
45 out of 400. Yeah, she's good people. Yeah, Michelle's good people. She actually, this party's been in the planning for over 2.5 years. I mean, it literally, the planning for this was a mess. I told her about it over 2.5 years ago, and the only way I was going to make it work was if I got my buddy Max involved, and I got Max Burke. I talked to her about it, and it took her about a month to come around, but it's just way too big for me to do. And Max came on as the co-chair, and we put an incredible committee together, and 2 years of meeting every week these people. I mean, the time that we put into that was insane. But I mean, we're laying the framework for something bigger, much bigger and better.
Well, and as we get closer to the 400, I think having events like yours and other events, year-round throughout Plymouth to help raise money, but raise awareness to be able to get some of the outside money to be able to come into town too is going to be very important.
Yeah, like we need to bring Def Leppard and play the waterfront.
Yeah, that'll bring them out.
We need Aerosmith down the waterfront too. We gotta get some big bands down here.
Yeah, and you think that Speak Out complains about the motorcycle mufflers?
I try not to read Speak Out. I read it one time and they were making, how about that Speak Out?
But as I was trying to tell wrestling too, it really is free, the First Amendment, freedom of speech.
Well, all right, so, but it's so uninformed. For instance, I know this guy was a painter and he painted the library one time, right? And it was reported in the paper that this guy painted the library for like $5,000, and they said they were like 10 doors, and they're saying that's absurd, how can the town pay so much money, blah, 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 blah. And I'm looking at it going, he's kidding me? I underbid that job so badly, I lost my shirt. But, being in business, if you're not self-employed, you don't understand. Being self-employed doesn't always mean you're going to make money.
Oh, my gosh.
Your job's not being profitable. You still have to do it and do it right and do it good. I lost my shirt on the job. I'm reading in the paper, they're saying, oh, my God, he just overcharged me. Overcharged me? Are you kidding me? I lost my shirt on that job.
And you don't read Speak Out anymore.
Kind of take it with a grain of salt because, it's like playing an operator. You get 20 people standing in the row, one says what's up to this one, and by the time it gets down to the 10 people down the end of it, two totally different.
Oh,
Yeah, it is.
Hey, we all love gossip. I like to gossip. I mean, who doesn't like to gossip? But some of it's so far-fetched.
We got them going.
You can't take Facebook seriously. It's just to have fun.
Yeah, some people.
Yeah, some people do it 24 hours a day.
I just like to antagonize because, you can't take life too seriously.
That's right.
You gotta have fun.
I do that a lot on Facebook. I'll throw out something provocative and then I'll walk away and come back 3 days later.
Still screaming about
I
it.
let everybody see, and people call me and they're going, "Oh, thanks, you got something started," and you walk away. I said, I'm having some fun.
Like take the Patriots for instance. I love getting them going about the Patriots and the Ravens, and I mean, come on.
Well, speaking of the Patriots, Jeff, what is your score for Sunday?
The game was deception. He cheated. No, he didn't cheat. He was smarter than you.
Yeah, that's right.
You'd go out there and you'd say, excuse me, the play's going to go to number 11. Number 11 will be catching the ball. I mean, come on, that takes all the fun out of it. Who's going to get the ball? And if you can't figure it out, well, then, hey, go play soccer.
So what's your prediction for Sunday?
Well, I lost wings on the last game, so I thought they were going to pummel my 20 points, but I'm gonna say it again, pass by 20.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm going 27. I'm going 27-23.
He's going to be very quarterback. He's just not in Tom's league yet. He's got another 5 years to come into his own.
Yeah, but that offensive line against Denver, man, they held the Denver defense, and you've got some pretty high-paid defensive guys on the Broncos that were held. I mean, he didn't even hear their names called the whole game.
Bill Belichick, that's all I got to say.
Yeah, and Bill we trust.
Ultimate chess.
And Bill we trust.
In the game of chess, you want Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
He's the smartest guy in the room.
He is.
Yeah.
He is. All right, Jeff. Well, hey, thanks a lot for calling in. We love you, and we appreciate all that you do for us in the town. And hopefully, we'll see you around town soon.
Not a problem. Hey, I'll see if I can get you that chair Reebok one of these days, Andrew.
All right, take it easy, buddy. Hey, I think it's the first time I've been on Three Amigos where actually 2 people called in.
That's right.
Awesome.
That's right. Let's go for a
Big
third.
night. Can we get 3? Come on,
We'll have
somebody
to say
call
something
in.
really bad so Karen will call in.
Yeah.
That'll be our third caller.
But again, just back to the whole, the freedom of speech, First Amendment, and the tragedy that happened in Paris. Oof. I mean, but there's been a pattern. I mean, you've had, Van Gogh's grandson that was murdered because, again, cartoonist being murdered around the world, and it's unfortunate that it took this particular. I mean, this was sort of there in a smaller scale. This was France's 9/11, and then to have, but it is about freedom of speech, and even NBC, some of our local media, still would not publish the picture of Muhammad that was on the front of Charlie Hebron.
But we'll do cartoons of. They actually did a video of Bush getting killed.
Yeah.
And we do stuff against our own religion all the time, and there's cartoons and there's jokes and there's everything, and
the one that really I remember distinctly was the Piss Christ, and it was in the New York Times, and it was in the art section, but it was basically the artist took a bucket of his own urine, sorry people, and put a crucifix in there, and that was considered art, and the New York Times had no problem running that, because again, it's the war against Christianity, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
Look at all the deaths of Christians in the past 18 months around the world, and yet you don't hear it from our current administration.
No.
And to not even be at that solidarity march earlier this week, and again, at least a high official should have gone. Okay, maybe Obama didn't go.
Yeah.
That's fine, but Eric
Secretary of
Holder
State
was in Paris. Eric Holder was in Paris that day and decided, and I think he was told not to go because
Holder?
We don't even call it. We don't even call it Islamic radicalism. Our administration refuses to say that. And until you define, I don't care what it is in business, until you define what the problem is, and if you're running a business, you can't fix the problem.
Right.
And if you can't define what this is, and it is radical jihad, and let's face it, there's going to be more of these happening in our country and around the world. And it was great to see finally that the people of Europe finally get it.
Oh yeah.
And again, it's going to be something that we're going to have to contend with, even in our country. I'm surprised that we don't have more of it. I mean, we had a taste of it, 2 years ago with the Boston terrorist bombing, which is going on. I call it a terror. Man-made disaster. As who was it? Janet Napolitano was calling it. They're man-made disasters. They're not terrorism. I mean, really.
And when did we get to a point in our political atmosphere where the word terrorism can't be used?
It's called PC, and that doesn't mean Plymouth Carver.
Oh my God! We've PC'd the crap. Excuse my language. That we PC'd the heck out of ourselves, so that the only people that we're offending now is ourselves.
Yeah, and I think that this political correctness is going to be the downfall of our country, of our values, of our morals, until we wake up and we say, "Hey, enough of this." And it's and hopefully once this the regime that we have in now that is going against our Constitution again in my opinion, that we can maybe get back to the values and the morals that the Pilgrims originally brought over to this country. I mean, what's interesting, I was reading Nathaniel Philbrook's book, The Mayflower, and we talk about socialism and how we want to give back to all these people and let the couch sitters collect money and everything. Well, the Pilgrims originally tried socialism. They had a community garden, and everybody was supposed to help at the community garden. And what they found out that there was some lazy pilgrims, and they wouldn't work the farm. They wouldn't work in the fields. So eventually, and I don't know if it was on your end, if it was Elder Brewster or Elder Bradford, that basically said, okay, wait a minute, we're done. Everybody gets their own little plot of land. Bradford, get your own little plot of land, and what you grow, you can sustain yourself. If you don't, you starve.
Right.
And I mean, isn't that really the American way? I mean, be self-sufficient.
Yeah, it is. It is. And the way that we're creating a generation of entitled children that feel like they should get whatever they deserve.
Yeah. On 16, I want a brand new car.
Yep, brand new car, and I want a job, and I want to be making $100,000.
Yeah.
And they walk into these places, and when I was in corporate America, we got a kid right out of college, and he put up on his cubicle the national averages for IT payment, who's getting paid what. And it was like, see, I should be making $80,000. And my boss looked at him and said, I'm not making $80,000. And you went to school for hotel management. Yeah. And it's like, how are you going to be making that? Yeah. And it just, you talk about PC, and you talk about how we can't offend anybody. There was a thing on Facebook, I believe it was on Facebook the other day, where this town, and I can't remember where it was, had a statue of a soldier praying. And it was Facebook? Okay. And I got to tell you, my brother-in-law is a Marine, and he said, back when, we videotape everything in the war, there was a picture of some Marines praying, and he said that cameraman is lucky he's alive, because the Marines, when they pray, that's sacrosanct. You don't mess with that. You don't take pictures of it. Yeah. You don't do anything about it. And this town had to take down the statue because some guy complained that it was against his non-religion. He didn't believe in religion, and here's a serviceman praying. And okay, if you don't believe, I have every right to believe in something that you to not believe in something. Okay, we can't put up a nativity scene at a public office anymore.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, okay, put the nativity scene, put a menorah, put anything you want up there, put what everybody wants. Yeah. And you get a space with nothing, because if you don't believe in nothing, but you can't take away my stuff and promote your stuff.
Well, and it's been happening for a while. I mean, they're continuing to try to take Christianity out of our society, whether it's the nativity scenes. And I mean, that's what this country was founded on. It was founded on, Judeo-Christian ethics, and even though George Washington in his first speech as president of the United States, and again back in those when they were talking about it, they would should he be called emperor? Should he be called a monarch? And he said no, because that was sort of what they were getting away from.
Why we left.
Why we left England and also France. But thank God France actually helped us win the Revolutionary War. And it's like, the left calls themselves the party of tolerance. But yet the left, in my opinion, has to be the most intolerant group that there is, because they never let people be people. You've got now in some schools, and I think Methuen, Mass as well, where they're teaching, in schools, they're teaching Islam.
Yeah.
But yet, where's the separation of church and state that we always hear from the liberal left? So if you're going to teach Islam, and it's watered down, they talk about Muhammad being a peaceful man, a shepherd. They don't talk about the fact that he had wives who were 12 years old. And that he, murdered and killed people. Matter of fact, the term leatherneck, which is subscribed to Marines, actually came from when Thomas Jefferson was president, and it was the Barbary Coast, where we were paying ransoms prior to Thomas Jefferson. We were paying ransom to pirates off the coast of Africa to let our ships through for trade. And so when Thomas Jefferson said no more, and there started to be wars going on, the Marines at that time actually put straps of leather on the back of their neck because the Moors, I think they were probably called back then, the Muslims, always had the swords,
Right.
and to keep the swords from cutting off their heads, they actually had
Leather on their neck.
leather neck, and that's where the term leatherneck came into play.
You're
everybody
a fountain of information.
useless trivia, but actually that's a pretty good one.
That was
but it's we came to this country, our descendants came to this country to live their life and leave us alone. And that's why I think I'm, not only been an independent, but I think I'm more libertarian than I am anything else. Because, as long as we're not hurting other people, leave us alone. If you don't like a nativity scene, then
don't look at
it. If you don't like this particular show, don't watch it. Not this show. Of course you're going to watch this show.
You're going to watch this show.
Leave us alone. And if you don't like it, I'll buy you a plane ticket to get the hell out of this country. So it's just
Wow, you heard it.
Yeah, it's sad. I mean, it really
it
is
is sad. It is sad, and we've gotten, and I have people that I talk to, and we get into discussions like this, and they ask me, what rights have you lost? What and it's a very over time thing where you're a little bit here and a little bit there, where you're losing, rights and you're losing things, and to be a white male Christian in this society is hard.
Yeah.
If I put some, I subscribe to a Facebook page that has a bunch of great Christian, ethics and, do good things. And I, had pushed it out on my Facebook page, and a friend of mine said, "Oh, I saw a bunch of religion stuff on your Facebook page. Are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah."
That's why I'm okay.
That's why I'm okay.
Yeah.
We have to wrap it up, guys.
We have to wrap it up.
We got to start wrapping up at when that says 58.
58.
So right now.
Right now.
Get in there and work the board, will you? Jesus.
Well, yeah,
What are you-
I'm going to look at this. Am I looking at that camera over there?
Camera 4,
Yeah.
Camera 4. Doesn't have a number on it. That says 3, by the way.
Yeah, there's only 3 cameras. Where's the 4th one?
It's in there. We'll use that a lot tonight.
Well, again, wrestling, always a pleasure.
Always.
A pleasure.
Awesome.
And again, thank you, everybody. Dave and Jeff for calling in. And again, give us some ideas of what you'd like us to talk about on the next Three Amigos, which is next Wednesday, 8 to 9 again. And again, as you see, it's pretty free-flowing. It is about discussions about local. Again, I want to thank all the viewers for coming in, and also our man of the hour, Ken, back there. Yeah, he's all dressed up tonight. I'm not sure where he's going. He's going to be on television.
What show?
We wouldn't let him. But again, thank you, and again, for the town of Plymouth, rock on. You guys are great, and we'll see you same bat time, same bat channel.
See you in 7.
See you in 7. Where's the music?
Yeah. Cue the music. I state your name.
That was classic. Show number 367. Oh, Karen, hi, Karen.
Hi, Karen.